Academy, which started last week. Our STEM Academy, which started last week. Our night starts this week through Dr. Filippatos's office. We are offering several layers of tutoring for students for interventions. And as well, where we'll be looking at opening a visual and performing arts after school activity as well, moving forward through next year, and our summer programs as well.
Thank you, Dr. Gordon.
You're welcome.
Yes, we're looking for hands at this point to share your thoughts on the budget. And I asked for parents originally, and we can take other participants if you have comments about the budget.
There are no hands at this time.
What about in the Google Docs, Dr. Filipatos?
I don't see any other responses yet now, but if I could talk about out of school time for a minute. Dr. Gordon just brought that to my mind, and it was a great segue. We really have prioritized out of school time as well, and in partnership with Dr. Gordon, any student that wants tutoring, any student that wants to participate in an after school activity, anything is available. We have tutoring that can happen in groups, it can happen individually. We have activities, if it's not in the school where one of the students is, they can be bused to the school. So we're really trying to wrap our arms around all the students out of school as well, because we know that is key to making sure that we're successful during the day. So if I could add that, but I do see a hand up, let's see.
Go ahead, whoever has their hand up. Parents.
Dr. Cooper has her hand. She's the first one that raised.
Go ahead, Dr. Cooper.
I have Linda Reed.
They both have it up.
In addition to what's best stated about the out of school activities, I just wanted to make parents aware that we also have, in many of the schools, I know at Cedarbrook, we have the Saturday Academy that incorporates academics and extra activities to help the kids re-engage in school. And it seems to be very successful, and the kids are really, really enjoying it.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. We definitely want to keep those type of initiatives going for our budget next year too, because we know students lost a lot during the pandemic, and we want to provide them as many opportunities for makeup as possible. But thank you. I'm glad the program is going well at your school.
Dr. Cooper.
Yes, I was just thinking about perhaps, I don't know if it's possible this time around, but for next year or the following year, that we think about incorporating funds for parents who don't have access to the after school program because they don't have transportation. If we could somehow incorporate that in our budgeting, because we missed out on a lot of kids participating because of transportation.
And we have a comment from another mom in the form, and it's actually a question, but it's what services or programs can you provide for K-2 students? That there doesn't seem to be a lot for them, and I'm assuming that's in the after school program. And you're right, most of the programs begin in second grade. For K and 1 students, we do have partnerships with the YMCA and several centers for wraparound care. And then, we have workshops with parents as well, but direct after school programming for first and second, for K and 1 is not as readily available, but I will take that as a concern for the future. And also note that K students and first grade students can have tutoring. So if a parent wants to sign up for tutoring for their young one, we do have expert tutors who can make it fun and really engage with the children as well.
And we also have the K, our summer program is K through 12.
Right, good point. And I have another parent that just weighed in, and they state that it is crucial that our district remain competitive with other districts regarding salaries and benefits so we can attract qualified teachers. Would you say that our district is able to do this? And if not, how will the budget address this need? Great question. So
Are we
Yes.
answering that? So I think our budget will address that in two ways. The first is making sure that we meet our contractual obligations. A lot of work has gone into a new contract settlement, which has been reached between the district and the Plainfield Education Association, as mentioned earlier, where the district is now moving forward with those contract negotiations with PASA as well. In addition to that, during this year's budget development process, we made a conscious effort, and this was through our collaboration with Mrs. Jones, the Executive Director for Human Resources, to ensure that we had additional funding to help the district be a little more creative in terms of advertising, participating in certain conferences, stepping outside of the box of what the normal plan of action has been in terms of recruitment. So there's more to come that we'll share when we do the preliminary budget presentation. But those conversations have taken place, and we are prioritizing that in next fiscal year's budget.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that, Mr. Hassan. We know that, we just closed negotiations with the teachers union, and our board did a great job of negotiating so that we are competitive with our surrounding districts. So we, of course, we don't compare ourselves to the smaller districts, but we try to, compare ourselves to other districts such as the Elizabeth and the Newark, so that we're able to attract and retain teachers.
There's still no hands in, amongst the participants.
It's okay. I know they're thinking of questions.
And we will leave our forum up, and we'll keep it posted on the website so that if you think of something later and you want to plug it in, we always appreciate your comments. The Student Services Department actually keeps an open parent comment form always available, so that if you ever have anything to say to us and you want to weigh in or ask a question, you can always do that. But this budget form will remain out throughout the whole budget cycle. So we do. It doesn't end at the end of this event. You can keep giving your comments, especially if you think of something later.
Come on, parents, this is your opportunity. We want to hear from you. And the questions, the comments that we're getting, we're taking notes, and they've been great comments, and we're going to take those all into consideration during this whole budget planning process.
Very good. We have another comment.
Great.
And it says, thank you very much for hosting this session and for the thoughtful exchange thus far. Would it be possible for someone to speak to any planned structural improvements, specifically to our more historic schools in the district?
You most certainly can, and we know that we're unique in Plainfield. I think, what is it, Mr. Hassan? 70% of our buildings are close to 100 years old, and we know that we have our new facility coming, the Charles and Anna Booker School, in 2023. And the state is certainly aware, of our concerns in Plainfield, but please go ahead and make your comments about our facilities.
And also, Dr. Mitchell, we are on the tail end of our long range of developing the district's long range facilities plan, which was it's a 5-year plan that will highlight much needed capital improvements. We've already completed the facility walkthroughs. We have scheduled focus group sessions with all of the building leaders to provide input in regards to their future vision for their school building. So there's a lot going on, and that plan, once completed, will be used to guide future construction and facility projects for the district.
Excellent. And we have another comment. As you indicated in the first few slides, enrollment has continued to increase. We have a large number of Spanish-speaking students. Do we have sufficient bilingual teachers to meet this demand?
We are certainly working on our recruitment effort of not only bilingual teachers, but all teachers. Not sure if you're aware, there is a nationwide teacher shortage. And we're putting in extra efforts to recruit teachers across all categories, especially bilingual teachers. And if you know any bilingual teachers, certainly send them over to Miss Carletta Jones. We would greatly appreciate that. And our recruitment efforts is also up on our website as well.
And as we were walking out today, Dr. Mitchell, we saw—
Michelle, you want to talk about some of the alternative route certifications for those persons who may be on the call, who may be interested in teaching? Take a couple of minutes to do that.
Part of our efforts are to work with many of our staff who are interested in teaching. We have teacher assistants who, as a matter of fact, had a study session today to help them pass the praxis. So for those individuals who are interested in obtaining an alternate route certification, if you have a bachelor's degree, then please reach out to the Human Resources Department. We are offering alternative ways to become certified and assistance with actually helping to pass the praxis, which is a test that you have to take to become a certified teacher.
We saw that great group today, Dr. Mitchell and I, when we were walking out, and there was about, I want to say 15 to 20 really happy people all sitting around the table studying for that exact test with Marie Maldonado, our bilingual supervisor. So that is a great program. Not sure that other districts are doing that. It's quite innovative. So
I was definitely excited to see those persons studying to become teachers in Plainfield.
Yes, and the district offers tuition reimbursement for our employees as well. So these are all incentives for staff to help increase our teacher pipeline.
So folks, if you know people interested, we do provide tuition reimbursement, which means we will pay for you to become a teacher and to stay with us in Plainfield if you are in fact seeking to go into the teaching profession. We're always seeking very special individuals to teach. So we talked a little bit about our facilities upgrades. We talked about our curriculum upgrades. We talked about some things we're doing for student social emotional wellness. We talked about our recruitment efforts. What am I leaving out, folks?
We're beginning the Parent Academy probably within the next month. Weekly seminars for parents on different areas from reading instruction to social emotional needs, and with partnership with Student Service and Dr. Filipatos and Ms. Shipman, we've created some courses for parents as well. So we are including the parents as part of our educational ventures as we move forward.
ESSER and grant funding.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm just going to say that I'm very glad that we're not talking about a certain pandemic that we seem to be moving out of. We did have great news today from the CDC that Plainfield is moving into the green, which means we're having very low spread, which means next week, if the New Jersey Department of Health gives us the go-ahead to be in green, then we will be taking our masks off next week. And it is wonderful that we all work together so well between our custodial staff who kept our buildings completely spotless, and our nursing department who is vigilant and 24/7 contact tracing, and just every teacher, every principal who, practiced all of our mitigation efforts. I think we really did the best that we could and came through a very difficult time. So yes, when we go into the green, which we anticipate because the CDC is hinting as much, that would be next week. Masks would be optional. Of course, we will always, if someone wants to wear a mask, that is certainly their choice, and probably masks will be part of our life moving forward, but they will be optional when we go into green. So I'm glad that we can not talk about that. So that's wonderful. That being said, we are budgeting for all of the necessary health department. We have a robust Office of School Health, and we have all the resources in place to continue any mitigation effort that's needed.
And thank you, Dr. Philippotis, for letting us know that masks, if we go into green, it will be optional, and there will be no mask shaming by anyone.
Oh, I think I have another one. Okay, I want to thank everyone for this presentation and for working so hard for our children. And thanks for keeping the staff and students in masks until it's safe. Thank you for that. We appreciate your thanks and for saying that to us. We really do. And the decision to keep students in masks until it's safe was really made by all the stakeholders in the district. We have a very active pandemic response team called the Road Forward, and people from every part of the district meet on this team. For some time we were meeting once a week, but now it's every other week, and we really felt that we wanted to take our time with that mask initiative. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Philippotis. We know, and it's been a tough decision because we know we can't make everybody happy, but we have to do the best we can to make sure that everyone is safe. I mean, the Road Forward team has been doing a great job of keeping up with the science, the policies, working with our health officer, Dr. Nazir, working with our Union County Executive Superintendent's office. It's just been a real journey in getting to this point, but the main goal, as always, is to keep everyone safe.
Absolutely. I still don't have any hands. I'm a little jealous over here, but it's okay.
And while we have an active audience, I'm just going to talk about the address verification for a second, since I don't see any questions. So we have been in the process of conducting an address verification process, and it is a part of our district's accountability system because we want to make sure that all students who actually live in Plainfield have the, number one, the documentation on file, and also want to make sure that we're in compliance. We get funding from the State Department for students that live in Plainfield, and it's something that we will continue after this year as well. I'm going to thank the parents for your full cooperation. Like I said, everybody's not going to be happy, but we have to make sure that we're being good stewards of the district's funding, which is a part of our budgeting process. And we're going to thank our parents in advance. And also the parents of the charter schools, because they too will have to provide address verification as they are funded through Plainfield Board of Education.
Hands. Let's see. Form.
We're talking about the budget, folks. We're taking questions and comments. So, Sonia, you want to talk about the budgeting process, the whole process? We know this form is a part of the process.
Yeah, sure. So this year, I think in embarking upon the development of the district's budget, we've been engaged in a truly holistic and collaborative process. We really started by doing our due diligence with our accounting department. And a huge thank you to Cynthia Lamb for all of the work that she's done for the district. So we really started by doing an analysis of the district spending for the last 4 school years. We know that the baseline of spending is somewhat skewed because we've had the global pandemic. So we didn't spend as much as we would have done in prior years had students been in school the entire school year. So with that said, we obviously had to make note of that. We shared that information with all of our building principals, all of our department heads, and we started the process by having not one-on-one, but cabinet level meetings with all of our principals who shared their budget presentations. They made facility requests. They also made requests for additional staff. And we followed that up by doing walkthroughs of their facilities so we can get our eyes on whatever issues they reported to us. And thank you to Mr. Sutton for participating in that. And we use that information to then develop a list of maintenance projects that will be completed internally. We then moved on to our meetings with our department heads. And we really used those meetings as an opportunity to have real dialogue about what the needs are for the district, for each department, and then coming up with the solution as to how we can fill those budgetary needs for each department without taking away from other important areas of the district. Our approach is really to have win-win situations. And for us, a win-win situation means that I, as the leader of Department X, has been given all of the fiscal resources I need to accomplish the goals that have been set by the district. And doing so without taking away from my colleagues and peers who also need fiscal resources to accomplish their goals. I'm very excited about the process that we've embarked upon so far, Dr. Mitchell. I think the conversations have been very robust. And by adding this additional layer of feedback from the community, I think we're really going to develop a soundproof budget that's all inclusive, collaborative, and one that we can all share as we move forward.
So we know that after, we finish with our budget, the superintendent's budget gets presented to the Board of Education, and then it's sort of a back and forth massaging of our final budget before it is submitted to the state department. Mrs. Son, do you think our budget's going to be fully funded this year? I know it's going to be a little later than it was last year. I do know that.
Yeah, so actually, I'm very optimistic. I did have the opportunity to listen into the governor's budget address earlier today, and he made some very good promises to get us, continue us on the path of fully funding education. He also made an announcement. I have this up here. So there's going to be a $430 million allocation to the School Development Authority and the Department of Education so they can award funds for school construction, capital maintenance, and emergent needs. That's a great sign for us because the School Development Authority is responsible for all new construction projects for our district. We will also be seeing $30 million in infrastructure investments to help with the push to move towards electrical vehicles. So that's a great opportunity for our transportation department, as we do have a mandate to get all of our diesel vehicles off of the road and move towards either propane or electrical vehicles by 2035. So again, those are very good signs, and we should hear within the next 2 days exactly what our state funding allocation is.
You actually had me at electric vehicles, and I think I appreciate the governor for the forward thinking to address our aging buildings, not only in Plainfield, but around the state, and also with our transportation, because it's something that is long overdue. And again, we just thank the State Department for their forward thinking and helping districts around New Jersey with that.
I have Miss Cooper. Mrs. Cooper, get ready to come on. I'm excited. So here we go.
Okay. Mr. Williams, we're excited too about Miss Cooper.
Go ahead,
Hello?
Mrs. Cooper. We can hear you.
Perfect. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Sam Sakitha Cooper here. I promise I'm going to be quick. I have a question. It's a two-part question. One is charter schools. I heard you mention us working together, collaborating, bridging the gap. They're here. I wanted to know, do we have any new applications? And the second part of my inquiry tonight is, I know that there are pilot programs that have been created by the mayor. And unfortunately, because of some of those pilot programs, the tax allocation that the school system would have received sometimes gets taken away. And I wanted to know, did we have a liaison within the district who would work with the city to fight for us not losing, whether it's 50,000 or it's 500,000, it still matters as it pertains to the budget. So I wanted to know, do we have something in place where we are monitoring that loss that has continuously been a deficit to the district? And I'm hoping that that's a yes, and that we're monitoring that. So that was it. That's all I had for right now.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the charter school. We didn't have any new applicants. We did have a couple of expansions requests, but we did not have any new applicants. Am I missing something, Mr. Williams?
No, you hit it right on the head. No new schools, only
Yeah.
to expand.
And I know that one of them, they have to get a building occupancy test before they expand. That was Barack Obama Green.
Okay, how does that affect us financially? Does that pull from our budget? Because I know there are some people who don't understand that the Plainfield Public School District budget encompasses the charter schools. So there is a chunk, and it's, you know, last I knew it was over 25 million. So with the expansion, how does that hurt or help us? And is there something that we can do? I know we're working on grants. I'm happy to hear Mr. Hassan say that there is some money that's going to come from the government allocating money to us, you know, for construction, new projects, et cetera. But is there something that we can do? And when I say we, I mean we as a community, we that may know people are able to talk to certain organizations to make sure that we are still fully funded and not cut short because of the expansion of the charter schools.
Of course, whenever the charter school grow, of course, it affects our budget. And I showed a slide earlier when the presentation first started on their growth as well as our growth. But we as a district, we're on target. We're improving our curriculum. We're improving our building. We're improving our programs. We're providing more opportunities for students. So that's how we can, better and keep up with the things going on in our district.
Okay, well, I thank you all. I know you're all doing as much as you can in what I call a restrictive environment due to the pandemic. So I thank you all. And if there's anything that I can do, or something that I can submit or send out or rally to get us moving forward in a positive direction, I'm here, and I hope that others that
for those who are supervised.
Okay, can you handle that? Thank you so much, Mr. Williams, for handling that correctly. Thank you, Ms. Cooper. We appreciate your support.
I'm here. You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, we always appreciate your comments. Thank you so much. And we do have another comment in our chat room. This one says, thank you again for this presentation and for the transparency with the budget. I have heard some teachers seeking grants to purchase needed items for their class. What is the process for a teacher to request from their principal for things that are needed in their class? Oh, Mr. Williams knows the answer to
Mr.
that.
Williams went up on that. I know when I was a teacher, hello, this is Diana, but go ahead, Mr. Williams.
So I speak principal still. So one of the things Plainfield has always been in the 16 years that I've been here, have never been a loss of providing supplies to teachers. And more specifically, when we talk about the last 2 years, as we go through the pandemic and the additional funding that we have received, there's no reason why any teacher would need to go on GoFundMe or anything else to get supplies for students. The process is they put in a request with the building principal. If for some strange odd reason, the school has run out of money, let's say it's April or May when budgets have been exhausted, all they do is call my office and we will happily fund those teachers. And it's not just my office. We have Dr. Gordon with all the grants that we have. We have Mr. Hassan, the business administrator that can find funds. There's no reason for any teacher to have to reach outside to get funding. So when we see that, we immediately address it, and it usually comes down if we know ahead of time, in enough time. But there's no reason for them to reach out. We have plenty of funds to support our students.
And Mr. Williams, the ed data process. So that really comes right on the tail end of the budget season. And teachers are given an allotment from their building principals, and they use those funds to go in and order their own supplies directly through ed data. And that's been in play in the district for a few years, correct?
Since I've been here for 16 years, and it has been as little as $100 to, in some buildings they give up to $400 per teacher to order their supplies. But no matter what that number is, what it comes down to, if there's something that the teacher needs, they go to the building principal and it will be funded, as long as it's going to have the potential to increase student outcomes.
And I'm thinking, though, when teachers make those funds, they have to be new teachers who aren't aware that, I don't know.
Typically, it is.
Everybody knows, that, a teacher has never been denied, funding for class projects or class libraries or special things we want to do for our students. We always support our teachers with those initiatives.
So I know right now I still don't have any hands up. I know we have approximately 6 minutes left on the town hall. So if you have any comments, please put it in the chat. We'll gladly answer it. But there's still time to raise your hand and we'll address your questions.
And if you think of something after this forum is open, we keep an open parent link on the student services page so that you can ask any questions. You can also use Let's Talk to ask any questions. We guarantee a 48-hour response. It's one of our many communications tools that we use to reach out to parents and community members.
Wow. I guess we did is that a new chat? I see something in Spanish. Oh no, that's Ellen Acosta. Okay, all right. She's on the job, boy, I tell you. I would like to, all due respect to our fabulous Dr. Mitchell, I'd like to thank our board members who last year raised this point of making sure that the community gets an opportunity to give input to the budget. We've always, legally, we have to present it to the community, but this is one of the first times since I've been here where we've had a town hall or a forum where we can get feedback from the community prior to the release of the budget. So.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Just previously it was embedded into our meetings, but I think parents and community need their special time because they don't have access to us 24/7 like the board and other people. So we have to have a time for parents to give feedback, and this is their time.
Okay, we do have a hand, and it's Jen Popper. So
Okay, there you go, Mrs. Popper. You can address the panel.
Hi, everybody. I just have a quick question. Mr. Hassan mentioned that their preliminary budget would be presented soon. I didn't catch the date. Was there a date?
Yes, that is actually slated for the upcoming board meeting.
Oh, so on the 15th. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I was talking, Mr. Hassan. I was on mute. Yes, so please make sure you're at the budget meeting on the 15th.
looks like we're good. We had a great showing participants. We had participation in our chat room and great questions and a really nice chance to just hear some extra thoughts. So we really appreciate it, and looks good from this end.
Okay.
So I'm just going to do a shameless plug again about the address verification process. Please make sure it is an ongoing process. So Plainfield parents, please get your information in. We know that schools have evening and Saturday appointments. And for the charter schools, you have to report to the board office at 1200 Myrtle Avenue. And it is Women's History Month. So we appreciate all the women, and actually it's International Day for Women today. Thank all the women, who help make this country great. All right.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, and have a fantastic evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
Good.